Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Overcoming Graduation with Brian Drury, a show where I work to teach you everything I wished I'd known about habits in life to help you graduate to the next level in your own. Today's episode is not going to be an interview. It's not going to be a morning commute like we do normally because we're in a very unique time right now, and that is quarantine. So this is going to be a quarantine episode. And what I hope to do as I start to do a couple more of these quarantine episodes, which hopefully, hey, we don't have to do them for too long. We're not stuck in it too long, but hopefully I can share some of the things that have been most helpful for me, the lessons that I've either applied or the reminders that I needed throughout this time to help me make the most of this time in quarantine. Now, I know this is not ideal to say the least. There have been all kinds of ups and downs for me personally, for people I know, and ranging the full spectrum. I think in normal life, I'm going to call it, normal day-to-day, the ups and downs came less frequently and less intensely. And what I found in this time in quarantine, especially the first few months, I mean, it's been over 2 months now. Those first 2 months, it was so erratic. It felt so unpredictable. It felt beyond my control. And at times, it just felt so overwhelming that I said, where do I begin? I wanted to share things and put out content and messages for everyone, but found myself struggling to even get through my basic day-to-day, my basic habits and routines. And being a person who teaches on habits and routines, I felt like, oh my God, what are you, a fraud? You're not doing every single one of your habits. You're not getting everything done. When I was still hitting about 95% of the time, which is pretty amazing considering, but yet that negative voice in my head was saying, oh, really? Yeah, you're the guy who's going to teach? And look at you? And then when I really thought about it, I was like, that negative voice, I was like, so what are you saying? It's like, oh, you weren't prepared for a global pandemic? Really? Shocking. So what I have realized, especially when it comes to habits, is habits aren't about being perfect and checking all the boxes every day. It's not about being perfect and getting the A+ and the 100% and the gold star. It's about doing things for you daily that help build you up, help you work towards exciting, compelling goals, but also to help you be at your best. But the thing is, life is going to throw us curveballs. Life is going to throw us unexpected things. Life is going to throw us things we never could have imagined we'd face. When I first faced this, when I was in my early 20s and my mom was diagnosed with cancer, out of nowhere, no pre-existing health conditions, nothing that would have indicated this, a super healthy person, a happy person, and it hit us like a ton of bricks. Then there are injuries, there are surgeries, there are things I've experienced in my life where I never expected to get gallbladder surgery in my mid-20s and spend over a year recovering from all the different side effects and having to adjust my life to that new normal for a time and then learn about all these different things to take care of my stomach. Now, then that's just personal stuff. That's just my stuff. Now we're hit with a global situation where I'm reaching out to friends around the world and we're all in this together. Now that sounds both good and then also I think we're all rolling our eyes because every fucking retailer and store and business that we've ever interacted with has sent us an email saying, here's what we're doing about COVID and we're all in this together. And it's like, I don't know why my email service provider or that company that sells fidget spinners that I bought from one time feels the need to tell me that we're all in this together. I think we're all sick of those emails. Like, why does everyone feel the need to tell me what they're doing about COVID? Because unless it's a business directly related to it, you know, all of our inboxes blew up to a point where we were like, what? Why? So we're all facing this. We're facing the little annoyances or confusing things like that. Then we have the much greater fears, doubts, insecurities, worries, and true just uncertainty that comes in a time of a pandemic. We're worried about family and friends. There are people who know individuals either closely or at a distance who have been diagnosed, who have passed away from the condition. There are people who don't know a single person affected. It is all across the board. So during this time, I want to share some of the things that have helped me. And guys, I want to be very clear, and as I always am, just share transparently on this show. As I share these lessons, I don't want to give off the perception or the illusion that these lessons that are helpful, I thought about them day one, I applied them, and I've just been crushing it all through quarantine. I have had ridiculous ups and downs. I have had some super productive days when I felt like shit and was like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm going to push through, which I'm like, good, okay, got some stuff done. I have had days where I didn't feel like doing anything. I've overdrank. I've overeaten. I've indulged in just about every coping mechanism I could think of. I've had days where I felt totally apathetic, which for me is a big sign something is off. When just a few days ago, I was lying in bed and I went, man, what's the point? The alarm went off and I said, I got nothing to do today. I got nowhere to go. And that small voice in my brain said, well, you could work on your business. You could do something productive. I'm like, yeah, but so what? For what? Why? And at that point, I couldn't come up with something compelling. So that for me was scary. And seeing, guys, I'm not even joking. One weekend, I went off. I said, you know what? I'm going to eat whatever I want in whatever quantity 3 days in a row. And I just said, you know what? I deserve this. This is an unprecedented time. I need this. And I went off. And when I tell you, I went from my standard weight, where I'm normally around like 182, the Thursday or Friday of that week. Sunday afternoon, I weighed in 193. Not a joke. Now, my weight can fluctuate very quickly. And granted, I know not all of that was true weight gain. I mean, there's some water weight and bloating and all that. But you see an 11-pound difference from your normal place in 3 days. You realize, okay, bra guy, we need to change some things up. So here are some of the things, and some that I have come to very recently or been reminded of by some of the incredible, amazing people in my life that are helping me the most. Now, let me tell you first where I got a little off track, and I was surprised, where part of the reason I teach on habits, why I focus so much on habits, on changing my morning routine, on becoming a morning person, on changing my diet and exercise to lose weight and gain muscle, on mindset, on accomplishing goals, on all these things. What I found was everything boils down to habits, how you live day to day and how you habitually approach the challenges and the adversity in your life. So I almost got to a point, and I got to a flawed point, where I said, if I just take care of my daily habits, life will take care of itself. Now, is there truth in that? Yes. Is it also flawed in some ways? Yes. Here's how. So the first couple of weeks of quarantine, I said, okay, I'm missing people. I'm missing physical touch, human connection. I'm missing all of it, but I'll just keep up with my routines. I'll keep up with my breath work, my morning exercise, waking up without snoozing my alarm, taking my ice cold shower. I'll work on my business 20 minutes a day. I'll get 20 minutes of physical activity, and then I'll read for at least 5 minutes, and I'll meditate for 5 minutes. I think those are some of that might be all of my daily commitments. And I do that because that's my daily maintenance. That's how I keep myself in check. That's how I keep myself at the best spot I can be at. And I do a little bit every day to make sure that it stays with me. Because I've had all those points in the past where I meditated hard for like a month. I'm like, God, I feel amazing. Now I can stop. It's like, never need to do that again. It's almost like, oh, got in shape, got the abs. Now I can stop working out. That's called destination fallacy. And that's what happens when we set goals that are not identity-based goals. They're outcome-based. And I'll talk more about that maybe in this episode, but maybe not. We'll see. So I said I'm going to lock in on my habits. And I was hitting, like I said, 95%. And that's not even a guess. The app that I use to track my habits literally has an overall counter. I can see by habit how many I've hit, how many I've missed, etc. So I'm hitting my habits. I'm taking care of that. And I'm like, why do I feel like shit? Then I started to go to the uncontrollable things. I said, well, there's a pandemic. I'm worried about my people and family and friends. I can't go see people. That's the problem. These are the things that that's why I feel like shit. I need human contact. I can't get that beyond just, time spent with my roommates. And I want to see my other friends, go on dates, do all this. I want to do that. I can't. That's what's the problem is. Here is a very important lesson that I've learned and been reminded of repeatedly. When I point the finger to the uncontrollable, unavoidable circumstances in my life, that leads to a real sense of desperation, emptiness, and apathy. And that, in turn, leads to, well, if it's impossible to change it, there's nothing you can do about it, you might as well just numb yourself out till this thing passes. It's essentially waiting for either someone else to change or for the bad thing to go away. Now, at the same time, I was eating like shit, drinking a bunch. I mean, guys, I drank more in these past 2 months than I have in probably like the past 2 years. Like it has been impressive. Staying up till all hours for no reason. I was spending more time on my phone and social media than ever before. All things that I know don't benefit me. So be very careful and pay attention to where you're letting go of the personal accountability to assign blame, because you're also letting go of your power to change the situation. The next piece, I was doing all my habits, and I'm like, why don't I feel good? Normally my habits help me feel pretty good, or they help me feel better. So I talked with one of my old coaches, a guy named Simon, incredible dude. And he helped me to recognize, he said, Brian, you and I are people that need to feel progress. We need to feel as though, not just as though, like we need to feel that we're working towards something. And the thing is, we often will wait and hope that that thing appears in our lives, but the reality is we need to create it. And that's something that I've realized over and over again, that motivation, inspiration, purpose is not something that falls in your lap. It is often, and pretty much every time, from what I've seen, created through the pursuit, the seeking of knowledge, the seeking of serving. That's where it comes from. So he said to me, Brian, you need something to work towards. He said, what's your goal in your business, your health, your meditation right now? I said, honestly, I don't have them. I don't have any. Just felt real apathetic at that moment, felt numb. He said, what's your goal in your business? I said, I set goals back at the beginning of the year. I haven't looked at them since this quarantine started. And if I'm being honest, since even prior to that. He goes, all right, man, let's keep it simple. Set yourself some goals, 30, 60, 90. Cover all areas of your life. And then let's check in. Now, here's the key. What I would have done in the past, said, great, I'm going to set goals in my business, and that's going to be awesome. Maybe health and fitness too. But I was forgetting about the psychological, mental, spiritual aspect of it as well. And what that means is normally that 5 minutes of meditation, 5 minutes of reading a day, and breath work, that's enough. But we're not in a normal circumstance, and my levels of anxiety, stress, and tension have been higher than they've ever been before. Maybe ever. Maybe the anxiety during my mom's cancer was higher, but this is a different circumstance. At that point, I could say, oh, I know why. I know why I feel this way. It's because my mom's battling cancer. And so that gave me some solace that I knew where the anxiety was coming from. With this, I understand there's a pandemic, but there's also that piece of me that goes, well, I'm just in my house. I'm safe. Why am I so stressed? So what I realized is I need to do more to take care of my mental and emotional state than ever before. That means journaling. That means meditation. That means time outside without technology. That means less time on social media, less time on my phone, and more time, even if it's digitally, connecting with people and reaching out. But also, this is a very unique time to cultivate my ability to not just handle being on my own, but enjoy time on my own. I think what everyone is being faced with is a unique instance where they are suddenly being forced to challenge and sit with themselves in a way they never have before. I find myself, my negative voices, my insecurities, my doubts, things that I could normally distract myself from or go out and do something that would help me to be in a positive place. Now I'm sitting with them. And a call with another friend of mine, another amazing friend, amazing person, who said to me, she told me about a very, very difficult time she went through and how she spoke with her counselor. And she talked about it. And then this big thing happened. Now, this was far and beyond anything she ever expected. And she was going to ask her counselor to pull up her appointment. She was going to reach out immediately. And then she said to herself, am I just reaching out to her so that I can vent and feel like I'm working on this when really what I'm doing is avoiding the real emotional intensity that I need to face to grieve and move through this. Now that hit me like a ton of bricks. Her saying that, I was like, I feel like that encompasses the majority of the past 2 months of my life. So that conversation with her, that conversation with my coach, my friend, showed me, okay, I need to set the goals. I need to take control. I need to put things into motion, and I need to take care of my mental, physical, emotional well-being, and I need to apply as many of these lessons, these techniques and tools as I can in order to face this stuff and stop running from it. I have had this back and forth in my mind where I say it's basically like the coach mind and the, let's call it the scared mind, or the uncertain, crazy mind, whatever, where the coach mind is going, oh, Brian, this is a great opportunity. You can grow. You can read the books. You can do things, read the books you've been meaning to. You can do things you've been wanting to do. Now's the time. This is such a unique and wonderful opportunity for you to grow. And that's where the idea of this could be your cocoon. You could emerge a beautiful butterfly, sexy butterfly with a six-pack, having read 22 books, speaking 17 languages, and running 92 businesses while juggling. Then the other side of my brain goes, fuck this, fuck that, fuck you. Like, are you crazy? I just need to deal with this right now. Where's the ice cream and the wine? So I've had that back and forth. And there are times where I've been in like the same 10-minute period and gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to agreeing with one or the other. And although it can feel like a cliche, something else that my friend and I talked about, she asked me, Brian, do you believe that everything happens for a reason? And at the time, I wasn't really sure, but as I thought about it, I got a little more clarity on what feels true for me. Because I said, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I want to believe that, but I don't know. And then on a walk is when it actually kind of clicked in my head. And I called her back the next day and I said, I thought about your question and here's what came to me. Does everything happen for a reason? And what popped in my head was, if we choose to believe there is a reason, there will be one. It's that simple. We can apply meaning, we can apply reason, we can apply lessons to anything. We can choose to say it's this cruel, unforgiving world and everything's random and by chance. It's totally up to you. And I said to her, I'm like, for me, it serves me and I like to believe that there's reason, that there's purpose. That I said, why? Because that means when good things happen, it means things were coming together. And when bad things happen, it means that there's some reason this is happening. It's not just random, horrible stuff. And then I can use that to help myself and help other people and get through tough times. Now, for some people, I'm not saying one or the other is wrong. I know for me, it's beneficial to believe that everything happens for a reason. Now, as we think about the back and forth, the two voices, why is this happening? What do we need to do? Where do we go? After that call with my former coach, put together a 30, 60, 90-day plan. I realized that was barely English. 30, 60, 90-day plan. Put it together. Got started on it the next day, which is today, as I'm recording this. And part of that is to get more of these podcasts out. So literally, I'm creating purpose in the chaos, in the struggle. I've had so many ups and downs, guys. I've had days where I was so frustrated and felt so alone. I've had overwhelming anxiety. I've had all these things. I'm tired of letting my emotions or letting the day guide me, letting the day take me where it wants to, letting my base desires, my addictions, my weak, limiting self, my scared self. I'm tired of letting that govern and dictate the show and the direction of the ship. And so I'm going to fight back. This 30, 60, 90-day plan is me saying I'm done just sitting in a canoe and holding the paddle in my lap and letting the current take me where it wants, I'm going to paddle towards where I want to go. Is it going to be perfect? No. Am I going to make mistakes? Yes. Is it going to be fun? Yes. Because I'm already excited about the goals and I'm smiling more today than I have in the past 4 or 5 days combined. I'm going to connect more. I'm going to serve more. I'm going to spend more time with you guys, which I have missed this. And it's something that I remember in my first job, I thought my job was going to give my life purpose. Graduated school, get my first job, and then I'm sitting there and I'm like, where the hell is the purpose? I'm so confused. Why is this not happening? Why is it not appearing? And then over time, through study, through research, through work, I realized it was my responsibility to create purpose. I was like, well, I hate my job. And I was like, well, how can I help the people around me? And then it was like, well, some of our customers are frustrating. I was like, well, what can I do to make their lives as easy as possible? Because I said, here's where my purpose comes. If my purpose is to make people's lives better, and I can do that within my job by being an exceptional servant, being a person who gives, being a person who checks in with people, being a person who asks how their day is and genuinely gives a fuck versus just blowing by, those are ways I can do that. And although I knew it wasn't my permanent, wasn't my long-term, that gave me purpose in the meaning, and it was created. So this whole quarantine is what we make it. Is it happening for a reason? If we choose. And it could be a cocoon. You come out that beautiful, sexy butterfly. It's multilingual, polyglot. Or it can be a prison cell. And it has felt like both, and sometimes at the same time. But even if I was in a prison cell, I'd want to be doing something. Reading, working out, doing something. Fighting back against the circumstance. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. I'm going to work to help you guys do that. I'm going to work to help my friends and family through this and the people battling things that are far beyond what's just going on with COVID and quarantine, because we can't forget that real life problems still exist in this. And I know friends who are battling cancer, that are getting surgeries, that have lost loved ones for a number of reasons. And COVID isn't the only thing in this world. So if there's some parting thoughts I can offer for you. Things that have helped me. 1, recognize the need for an increased level of mental and emotional processing and support. You can do that individually, journaling, meditation, breath work, getting enough sleep, just the basics, eating good food, taking good healthy supplements, your vitamin D, your vitamin C, all that stuff, getting some natural sunlight if you can. The basics, hitting those things. But focus on your mental and emotional state, because that's what's going to start all of this. Then set some exciting, inspiring goals, whether that's a new hobby, a habit, starting a project, starting a business, reading 10 books in a month, the books you've always wanted to read, whatever. Find something for you that is meaningful, but set goals both in like your physical, your mental and emotional, and your business or your revenue or your finances. Like, let's make it holistic. Make it a challenge, but not something wild. My fitness goals I've set, I know are very attainable. And they're much more than I'm doing now, but the whole point is to push myself but not overdo it to the point where I'm trying so hard to just do the physical challenge because it's so intense that I burn myself out and I can't do any of the other things. I've done that before. I injured myself. That's not what this is about. It's about pushing the body. It's about having things that I can work on every day and go, well, I'm working towards a meaningful goal for me that's going to make me better, stronger, faster, smarter, more at peace, more loving, more open. That's what the goals are. So as we work to cultivate our personal strength, recognize we don't have to do it alone. Because guys, when I try to do it alone, sometimes I get so wrapped up in my own bullshit and my negative thoughts that I spiral. That's why I have great people I can call. And those 2 people I talk to are some of my favorite people, some of the people who help me the most. So reach out, find the people for you. If it's a counselor or a therapist, great. If it's family, great. If it's friends, great. If it's a combination, great. Find those people for you. And if it's your pets and cuddling with them is one of the best things, make sure you make time for that. Let's make time for our mental well-being, loving ourselves and taking care of ourselves better than ever, especially the mental and emotional. Let's set some fun, compelling goals. Let's take care of the basics and the routine, the diet, the exercise, sleep, recovery, rest. And let's take it one day at a time, guys. That's all we can do. I know that's really all we can ever do in life. But especially at this time with all the uncertainty and the craziness, fun, exciting, compelling, meaningful goals for you that incorporate all those different areas: mental, physical, spiritual, emotional. And we're going to get through this. I know it sucks. I know at times it's like, when is this going to end? I know even when I'm in my cocoon, I'm still like, well, I would really like to say fuck this and just go give like everybody a hug. But we'll get through this together. Let's help each other through it. If this was something that benefited you and helped you, share it. Sometimes that's all we need to do. Sometimes, even if we're not putting things out or sharing videos or writing a book, like, guys, sometimes just sharing a happy video and amidst all the negativity that we'll see, that might be it. Sometimes sharing a podcast like this, if the message benefited you, maybe someone you love in your circle needs to hear it. My hope is that this can help as many people as possible. So if you find that benefit, please share with your friends, your family, your following, your loved ones, even your cat. I hear cats and dogs love my podcast. Some of my most avid listeners, when it's put on in a room that they can't escape from and they can't change the station. So yeah, they listen to everything. So, all right, guys. Speaking of rest, I am tired, fried. This is the first day of that 90-day plan. I feel really happy and really tired. And I'm glad I pushed through and did this, because I have been putting this off for literally months through quarantine of just getting some more podcasts out there for all of you. I realize that some of the best times in my life come when I'm focused on, like when I'm not entirely focused on myself and I'm focused on helping people in whatever big or small way. Like, I'm going to send a few people some cards this week, and I've had friends and family respond and say, like, just getting a card, not even during quarantine, was like one of the highlights of their week. So imagine getting a card from someone you love with some goofy shit like a llama that says, "I'm awesome," hypothetically. Not that those are the cards sitting on my desk. Or I'm sorry, a llama that says, "You're awesome," not "I'm awesome." Be a hell of a card to get. Hey, just want to let you know I'm awesome. But "You're awesome." The cards say "You're awesome." Then I write loving messages. So let's think of fun little ways we can help, because it doesn't take a lot. You don't have to spend money. Sometimes it's just a text to somebody you've been thinking about that says, "I love you and I've been thinking about you," and that's what we're going to help each other through. So I love you guys. Thank you all for listening. Be sure to subscribe. My goal is to really bring more of this out, be more consistent, and push through the uncomfortable situation we're in, and stop looking at it as a prison cell and look at it as a cocoon that I can come out of, a better version of me, and having helped other people see the cocoon instead of the prison cell. So I love you guys. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for doing your good. Thank you for finding the light even in the dark days. Thank you for reaching out to me. Thank you for reaching out to the people you love. Thank you for resting and taking breaks and giving yourself a break on the really tough days. And thank you for overeating and indulging and binging and numbing and all that stuff, because, guys, I did plenty of that, and I probably will do more. Hopefully with my action plan, it's a little more controlled. I'm trying to limit my cheat meals and stuff, but we've all been through it. And I heard Tim Ferriss and Kevin Rose say, no one is crushing this. No one is going through this and just kicking ass, and that's okay. So you're not alone. I want you to know that. Above all, you're not alone. We're in this together. And if no one's reached out, just consider this me saying, I'm reaching out. I love you. I'm with you, even just in spirit. And I am sending you a virtual hypothetical "You're awesome" llama card right now. So, all right, guys. I love you all. I'm going to go get some rest. I hope you do the same. And I'll be talking to you again real soon.